First Contact Protocol. The quantum sensors aboard the Xerxian research vessel, Eternal Curiosity, weren't supposed to be active in this sector. The ship had been tasked with a routine survey of presumably empty space, searching for traces of ancient civilizations among the stellar debris. Instead, Chief Researcher Vexna found herself staring at readings that threatened to upend centuries of established scientific doctrine. "Impossible," she whispered, her crystalline appendages vibrating with excitement. The energy signature emanating from the third planet of this unremarkable yellow star wasn't just unusual, it was unprecedented. The planet's magnetosphere pulsed with patterns that could only be artificial, yet displayed complexity far beyond anything the Xerxian collective had achieved in their 50,000 years of technological development. Analysis complete, Chief Researcher, the ship's AI announced. The planet appears to be inhabited by biological entities classified as humans. Historical records indicate minimal technological capability as of their last observation, approximately 300 cycles ago. Vexna's outer membrane rippled with disbelief. She had studied the reports about Earth during her xenoanthropology training. Humans were supposed to be a primitive species that had barely achieved atmospheric flight when the collective last checked. They had been deemed unready for contact and left to develop on their own. The readings suggested otherwise. "Initiate First Contact Protocol," she ordered, her voice steady despite her growing excitement. As the words left her speech organs, a new signal appeared on her displays. Directed, powerful, and unmistakably artificial. "Greetings, Xerxian vessel." The transmission began in perfect collective standard. "This is Earth Defense Command. We've been tracking your approach for the past 3 days. Welcome to Sol Space." The implications hit Vexna like a gravitational wave. Not only had humans detected their supposedly undetectable ship, but they had also deciphered the collective's language without any prior contact. Before she could formulate a response, her sensor arrays registered movement from Earth's direction. A vessel emerged from what appeared to be a fold in space itself, its design unlike anything in the collective's vast database. It was beautiful in its complexity, covered in patterns that seemed to shift and flow like liquid mathematics. Most striking was its size, at least 10 times larger than the Eternal Curiosity. "We're dispatching an escort to guide you to our diplomatic reception facility," the Earth transmission continued. "Please maintain your current position, and don't be alarmed by our ship's appearance. The Aurora-class vessels tend to make quite an impression on first viewing." Vexna watched as the human ship approached, its movement defying several laws of physics she had believed immutable. Her scientific training warred with her instincts. Everything about this encounter violated established theories about technological development and species advancement. Chief Researcher, her second-in-command Tazel, spoke up, his crystalline form vibrating with concern. "Our deep scans indicate the human vessel's energy output exceeds our entire research fleet's combined capacity by several orders of magnitude. Yet they're generating no waste heat. It's as if they've solved the entropy problem." "Impossible," Vexna said again, but with less conviction this time. She was beginning to realize that word might need significant revision when it came to humans. As the Earth ship drew closer, its surface revealed itself to be composed of countless smaller patterns, each one a testament to engineering principles the Xerxians had never imagined. The vessel's very existence challenged everything the collective thought they knew about technological progress. "We're receiving a data packet," Tazel announced. "It contains navigation protocols, safety procedures, and, is this right, a cultural introduction package including something called coffee and cat videos." Vexna accessed the data stream, her sensory clusters processing the information with growing amazement. The humans weren't just advanced, they had developed along paths the collective had never even considered. Their technology seemed to dance along the border between science and art, each innovation building on the last in ways that appeared almost organic. "Chief Researcher." The ship's AI interrupted her thoughts. "I feel compelled to point out that according to all known models of technological development, This level of advancement should have taken the humans at least another 1,000 cycles to achieve. Clearly, Vexna replied, watching as the human vessel took up position alongside them, with impossible grace. Our models need updating. The next transmission from Earth carried a different voice, warm and friendly despite its alien nature. Chief Researcher Vexna, I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the EDS Hyperion. We've prepared a proper welcome for you and your crew. I think you'll find we have quite a lot to discuss about the nature of progress and possibility. As Vexna prepared her crew for their encounter with humanity, she couldn't help but feel that the real discovery today wasn't just the humans' technological achievements. It was the revelation that the galaxy might be far more wonderful and strange than even the collective's greatest minds had imagined. The eternal curiosity began its approach to Earth, following the path laid out by their escort. Through her ship's observation arrays, Vexna watched the blue planet grow larger, its surface dotted with structures that defied conventional engineering. Orbital rings encircled the equator, massive space elevators stretched into the darkness like silver threads, and countless ships moved through carefully choreographed patterns that spoke of mastery over gravity itself. Humanity, it seemed, had not just surprised the galaxy. They had reimagined what was possible. And this, Vexna suspected, was only the beginning. The demonstration. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Collective hadn't seen such attendance in over a millennium. Representatives from 217 spacefaring civilizations packed the massive chamber, their varied forms creating a living tapestry of evolutionary diversity. At the center of attention stood Dr. Elena Martinez, Earth's chosen representative, looking remarkably calm for someone about to address the most powerful gathering in known space. High Chancellor Kvoth, their crystalline form refracting light, in patterns that conveyed both authority and concern, spoke first. The claims made by the Zrixian research vessel are extraordinary. You suggest that humanity has not only mastered zero-point energy, but has found ways to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself. Elena smiled, her expression carrying a warmth that transcended species barriers. Chancellor, we find that showing works better than telling. With your permission. She raised a small device that the collective's most advanced sensors couldn't even begin to analyze. The chamber's atmosphere shifted as something impossible happened. A star appeared, floating in the center of the hall. Not a hologram or projection, but an actual miniature star, complete with its own gravity well and fusion reactions. The assembled representatives recoiled in shock, their various physiologies expressing amazement in 1,000 different ways. This is what we call a containment demonstration, Elena explained, walking around the floating star. The principles behind it helped solve our energy crisis 2 centuries ago. But it's not the technology itself that we're here to discuss. It's how we learn to use it responsibly. With a gesture, she transformed the star into a 3-dimensional map of human space. Thousands of worlds connected by lines of light, each one showing levels of development that challenged the collective's understanding of what was possible. 300 years ago, humanity faced a choice, Elena continued. Our technology was advancing faster than our wisdom. We could have spread across the galaxy, imposing our will on any civilization we encountered. Instead, we chose isolation, not out of fear, but out of responsibility. The map shifted, showing the progress of human development during their self-imposed quarantine. Cities that rose into orbit, orbital rings that transformed planetary economics, and space habitats that housed billions in comfort and prosperity. We needed time, Elena said, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. Time to understand not just what we could do, but what we should do. Time to develop not just technology, but the wisdom to use it properly. A murmur ran through the assembly as Elena produced another device, this one barely visible in her palm. This contains the cure for 97% of known genetic diseases across all cataloged species. We developed it 50 years ago, but we needed to be certain it couldn't be weaponized before sharing it. High Chancellor Kvoth's crystalline form vibrated with barely contained emotion. You possess such power, yet you seek permission to share it. Most species would use this advantage to dominate. Elena's expression turned serious. That's precisely why we waited, Chancellor. Power without wisdom is like giving a fusion torch to a child. Spectacular, but potentially catastrophic. We learned that lesson the hard way. The demonstration continued as Elena showed more of humanity's achievements. Ships that could cross galaxies, computers that could simulate entire universes, and medical technology that made death from natural causes nearly obsolete. But with each revelation, she also explained the safeguards, the ethical frameworks, and the philosophical principles that guided their use. Our greatest achievement isn't any of this technology, Elena said, gesturing to the wonders floating around her. It's learning when not to use it. We've developed weapons that could destroy solar systems, but we've also developed the wisdom to understand why we never should. The chamber fell silent as Elena walked to the center of the hall. Above her, the display changed to show Earth, not as it was, but as it could be. A world where technology and nature existed in perfect harmony, where advancement served life rather than dominated it. We're not here to claim superiority or demand authority, Elena concluded. We're here because we believe the galaxy is ready for what comes next. Not just technological advancement, but a new way of thinking about progress itself. We're here to share, to learn, and to grow together. As she finished speaking, the display expanded to show something that made even the most seasoned space travelers catch their breath. A glimpse of what human scientists had discovered lurking between dimensions, waiting to be explored. The possibilities were endless, but only if approached with the right balance of ambition and restraint. The High Chancellor's voice carried a new tone, not fear or awe, but something closer to hope. And if we accept this offer of partnership, what exactly does humanity propose? Elena's smile returned as she activated one final demonstration. Let me show you what we can build together. After all, the universe is not just vast in space, but in possibility, and we've barely begun to explore either. The Grand Assembly Hall transformed around them, offering a vision of a future where the combined wisdom of hundreds of species could guide the power that humanity had mastered. It was a future worth building, together. Crisis at Nexus Station. Nexus Station was the pride of the Galactic Collective, a massive trading hub where 1 million beings from across known space conducted commerce every day. Its distinctive spiral arms housed markets, diplomatic offices, and cultural exchanges from hundreds of species. Today, those same arms were on the verge of collapse. Station Director Zarak's tentacles writhed in distress as another structural integrity alert blared through the command center. The quantum anomaly that had appeared 3 hours ago was growing exponentially, its gravitational effects threatening to tear the station apart. Evacuation progress at 30%, reported her chief of operations, his insectoid mandibles clicking nervously. But at current rates, we'll lose containment before we can get everyone out. The anomaly is accelerating its growth, added Dr. Ix, the station's lead scientist. Our models suggest total structural failure in approximately 47 minutes. Zarak felt the weight of responsibility crushing down on her primary heart. Over 700,000 beings still remained on the station, with evacuation ships already filled to capacity. The collective's fastest rescue vessels were hours away. That's when the impossible happened, again. Director, her sensor officer called out. 3 human vessels just emerged from fold space. They're massive. The main display showed 3 ships that dwarfed even Nexus Station. Their sleek hulls rippled with patterns of light that seemed to bend reality around them. The largest bore the name Horizon Breaker in multiple galactic scripts. Nexus Station. This is Captain Maya Wong of the Earth Emergency Response Vessel Horizon Breaker, a calm voice transmitted. We detected your quantum disturbance from 6 sectors away. We're here to help. Before Zarak could respond, the human ships moved into position around the station, forming an equilateral triangle. Energy fields unlike anything in collective science sprang to life between them, creating a containment web around both the station and the anomaly. Director Zorak, Captain Wong continued, "We're stabilizing your structural integrity first. Our analysis suggests the anomaly was caused by an abandoned experimental drive core in your lower maintenance sectors. Don't worry, we've dealt with similar situations before." The station's groaning and shaking subsided as the human ships extended their fields. Displays that had been showing critical failures began returning to normal parameters. "How is this possible?" Dr. Akes demanded, his crystalline form vibrating with scientific curiosity. "The energy required to contain a quantum anomaly of this size is roughly equivalent to a small star's output," Captain Wong finished for him, "which is why we brought 3 Class A reactors. Now, about that evacuation. We can have everyone off the station in 20 minutes if you'll allow us to use our mass transport systems." Zorak didn't hesitate. "Do it, Captain. Whatever you need." What followed was a masterclass in emergency response. Massive transport ships emerged from the human vessel's hangar bays, each one capable of safely carrying tens of thousands. But it was the method of transport that left the station's population speechless. Instead of traditional docking and boarding procedures, the humans used what they called spatial transfer fields, carefully controlled windows in spacetime that allowed people to simply step from one location to another, regardless of distance. "The physics are actually quite simple," explained one of the human engineers to an amazed group of collective scientists as they watched the evacuation unfold. "You just have to think of spacetime as more of a suggestion than a rule." Meanwhile, other human teams had descended into the station's lower levels, wearing suits that seemed to ignore radiation, gravity, and several other fundamental forces. They located the malfunctioning drive core and contained it in what they called a pocket universe for safe disposal. "The tricky part isn't the containment," one of the human technicians said casually as they worked. "It's making sure you fold the pocket universe properly. You don't want any wrinkles in spacetime. Makes an awful mess to clean up." In the command center, Zorak watched in amazement as the situation transformed from imminent catastrophe to controlled operation in less than an hour. The evacuation was proceeding smoothly, the station's structure was stabilizing, and the quantum anomaly was shrinking under the human ship's influence. "Captain Wong," she transmitted, "I don't know how to thank you. You've saved hundreds of thousands of lives today." "No thanks necessary, Director," Wong replied warmly. "This is why we're out here. Though if you're interested, we'd be happy to help upgrade your station's quantum detection systems. Might help catch these problems before they develop." As the crisis wound down, Zorak found herself reflecting on how quickly everything had changed. Just a few months ago, the galaxy had thought of humans as an isolated, primitive species. Now they had casually demonstrated technology that made the collective's most advanced achievements look like children's toys. But what struck her most wasn't the power of their technology. It was how they used it. Every action was carefully measured, every solution designed to preserve life and minimize disruption. They wielded star-level energies with the precision of a surgeon and the care of a parent. "You know," Dr. Akes commented as they watched the human ships begin restoration work on the station's damaged sections, "I think I finally understand why they waited so long to rejoin Galactic society. They weren't just developing technology. They were developing the perfect way to help others with it." Zorak's tentacles rippled in agreement. The galaxy was changing, and for once, she was genuinely optimistic about where those changes might lead. Understanding humanity. Professor Xintel stood before the Galactic Anthropological Council, her holographic form shimmering with barely contained excitement. After 6 months studying human civilization, she and her team had finally compiled their findings. The chamber was packed with representatives from every major scientific institution in the collective, all eager to understand the species that had transformed galactic society. "Our initial assumptions about human development were fundamentally flawed," she began, activating the chamber's immersive display system. "We believed technological progress followed a linear path. Humans proved otherwise. The display showed Earth's history, but not as a simple timeline. Instead, it was a complex web of interconnected developments, cultural, technological, and philosophical advances weaving together in unexpected patterns. Look here. Scintille indicated a period humans called the 21st century. This was their critical point. They faced multiple existential crises simultaneously: climate change, artificial intelligence risks, genetic engineering challenges, quantum computing breakthroughs. Most species would have collapsed. Humans did something unprecedented. The display shifted to show Earth during its isolation period. They didn't just solve their problems. They completely reimagined their relationship with technology. While we focused on advancing our capabilities, humans focused on advancing their understanding. Images floated through the chamber. Vast underground research facilities where humans tested dangerous technologies in controlled conditions, orbital laboratories where they perfected their mastery over matter and energy, and most intriguingly, entire cities dedicated to philosophical and ethical development. Their greatest breakthrough wasn't scientific, Scintille continued. It was conceptual. Humans stopped seeing technology as a tool to dominate their environment and started seeing it as a way to enhance life itself. She gestured, and the display showed human living spaces, cities that breathed like living organisms, homes that adapted to their inhabitants' needs, transportation systems that moved millions without disturbing a single blade of grass. But the most fascinating discovery was this, Scintille said, bringing up new data. Humans never stopped making weapons. They just changed how they thought about defense. Every human technology has protective applications, but they're designed to neutralize threats while preserving life. The council chamber filled with images of human defense systems, shields that could protect entire planets, devices that could halt armies by temporarily altering probability fields, ships that could evacuate whole populations in hours. Their ships aren't warships in any traditional sense, Scintille explained. They're more like mobile civilization preservation units. Each one carries enough resources to rebuild a planetary society from scratch. Their weapons aren't designed to destroy. They're designed to protect, contain, and preserve. A council member raised an appendage. But surely this level of power could still be used for domination. What prevents them from becoming conquerors? Scintille's form pulsed with academic satisfaction. That's the most remarkable part. Humans developed something they call integrated ethics, moral principles literally built into their technology. Their most powerful devices simply cannot be used for conquest or oppression. It would be like trying to use a medical scanner as a weapon. The fundamental nature of the technology prevents it. The display shifted to show human educational facilities, where young humans learn not just how to use advanced technology, but why and when they should. They spend as much time teaching wisdom as they do teaching science. Every human who operates their high-level technology goes through years of ethical training. But how did they advance so quickly? Another council member asked. Even with their approach, the speed of their development defies all known models. Because they changed the rules, Scintille replied. When humans hit a technological barrier, they don't try to break through it. They go around it. When they encountered the light speed barrier, they didn't try to exceed it. They learned to fold space instead. When they faced energy limitations, they didn't just seek new power sources. They redefined how energy itself works. The chamber filled with equations and models that made even the most advanced researchers present feel like novices. Humans don't just think outside the box. They question why the box exists in the first place. Their greatest advantage isn't their technology. It's their perspective. She showed footage of human children in learning centers, asking questions that would never occur to most species. Why does gravity only pull down? Can we teach plants to talk? What's outside the universe? This is why they isolated themselves, Scintille concluded. They needed time to develop not just the power to reshape reality, but the wisdom to know how to do it right. They weren't hiding. They were preparing. Preparing to rejoin galactic society not as conquerors or mere allies, but as guardians. The display showed one final image, a human ship helping to evacuate a colony threatened by a stellar event. The ship's actions defied physics as the collective understood it, but what struck the observers wasn't the technology. It was the care taken to preserve every life, the precision used to minimize trauma, the dedication to leaving things better than they found them. In conclusion, Xintel said, "We haven't just discovered a more advanced civilization. We've discovered a new way of thinking about civilization itself. The humans aren't just showing us new technology. They're showing us new possibilities for what we can become." The Alliance. The observation deck of Earth's orbital diplomatic center offered a view that summarized humanity's journey. Below, the planet gleamed with the subtle shimmer of atmospheric shields and orbital rings. Above, ships from 100 different species moved in careful patterns, their designs ranging from crystalline structures to organic forms that seemed to swim through space. Ambassador Elena Martinez stood beside High Chancellor Kvoth, watching as the latest arrival emerged from Fold Space, a massive vessel that combined human engineering with Xerxian crystalline technology. It was the first of its kind, but not the last. A year ago, Kvoth's crystalline form resonated. We thought we understood the limits of possibility. We were wrong in the most wonderful way. Elena smiled. We had similar thoughts when we were developing our technology in isolation. Every time we thought we'd reached a limit, we found a new way of looking at the problem. But what we're achieving together now surpasses anything we could have done alone. The joint human-alien vessel, named Unity's Dawn, moved into its docking position with impossible grace. Its hull incorporated technologies that neither species had been able to perfect independently. Human energy manipulation combined with Xerxian crystal matrices, Mantoran biological computers integrated with human quantum systems, floater spacetime mathematics enhanced by human dimensional engineering. The threat we face, Kvoth began, their form shifting to patterns that indicated deep concern. It's unlike anything in our records. Elena nodded. Long-range sensors had detected something massive moving between galaxies, not ships or natural phenomena, but something that defied conventional understanding. Space itself seemed to warp around it, and every simulation suggested it was heading toward the Milky Way. That's why this alliance is so important, Elena said. Humanity spent centuries learning that the greatest achievements come not from conquering challenges, but from understanding them. Whatever's coming, we'll face it together, not just with technology, but with wisdom. The observation deck's displays showed other joint projects across human and collective space. Dyson swarms built around dying stars to preserve their energy for future generations. Dimensional anchors stabilizing regions of space threatened by natural disruptions. Vast networks of sensors and processors working to understand the universe in ways neither humanity nor the collective had imagined possible. The latest data from the Unity's Dawn project is fascinating, Kvoth said, bringing up a holographic display. The crew discovered that when human intuition is combined with Xerxian analytical methods, they can perceive patterns in reality that neither species could see before. They're calling it unified perspective theory. Elena watched as the hologram demonstrated the concept, a new way of understanding the universe that transcended traditional physics. This is exactly what we hoped for. Not just sharing technology, but creating new knowledge together. The display shifted to show the progress of the Galactic Defense Initiative. Thousands of ships and stations, each incorporating the best aspects of multiple species technologies, formed an interconnected network of protection and research. But unlike traditional military preparations, these defenses were designed to preserve and understand rather than destroy. We've received the first detailed scans of the approaching anomaly, Kvoth reported. It appears to be alive, in some sense, not biological life as we understand it, but something that exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Then we need to try to communicate with it, Elena replied. That's why the Unity's Dawn is so important. It's not just a ship, it's a testament to what we can achieve when we combine our perspectives. Its communication arrays incorporate every known method of interaction, and quite a few theoretical ones. The massive vessel's presence seemed to underscore her words. Its very existence challenged old assumptions about cooperation between species. Humans had provided the imagination to conceive it, but every member of the Alliance had contributed something essential to its creation. There was concern, Kvoth admitted, when humans first revealed their true capabilities, that you might seek to dominate. Instead, you've shown us a path to advancement we never considered, one where progress serves life rather than overshadowing it. Elena turned to face the crystalline being. That was our greatest discovery during our isolation, that true power isn't about control or dominance. It's about understanding and preservation. Every advancement we made was guided by a single question: how can we use this to protect and enhance life? The observation deck filled with new data as reports came in from across the galaxy. The Alliance's combined sensor network was revealing secrets about the universe that neither humans nor the collective had dreamed possible. But more importantly, it was showing them how to face those secrets together. The anomaly will reach our galaxy in approximately 50 years, Kvoth noted. Previous calculations suggested we had no chance of surviving contact with it. But now we have something better than a chance, Elena finished. We have understanding. Whatever this entity is, it's about to encounter something unprecedented, a galaxy where hundreds of species have learned to combine their strengths not for conquest, but for preservation. As if to emphasize her words, the Unity's dawn activated its main systems, creating a display of light and energy that represented the harmony of multiple species technologies working in perfect concert. It wasn't just a demonstration of power, it was a beacon of hope, showing what was possible when different perspectives united for a common purpose. The galaxy was about to face its greatest challenge, but for the first time in its history, it would face that challenge as a truly unified civilization. Humanity had returned from its isolation not to conquer or compete, but to help forge something entirely new. An alliance based not on power or fear, but on the shared desire to understand and preserve the wonders of existence.